I'm back. I've had to start a new stream. Let's see if anyone jumps on. I lost everybody on the last stream, but will they see that there's a new stream? Frustrating. Hello, everyone. Well, when I say everyone, two of you are here now. Let me know if you can hear me in the comments. I had to start a new stream, so let me know. Just getting some rumours of a new bit of interest in a Tottenham player. So I'll wait till a few more of you are back. We can hear you. Thank you. That's good news. You can hear me. Excellent news. Thank you for joining, guys. I'm just checking out a transfer rumor that I've just seen. Loud and clear. Good. Glad to hear it, guys. Sorry about that. I don't know what's wrong with my sound. It's really frustrating, actually. What's his name? I'm just sorry. Apologies that I'm looking at my phone, but I'm just checking out a transfer rumor. Yeah, apparently Spurs linked with a Japanese centre-back called Kota Takai, who plays for Japanese first division team Kazawaki Frontale and the Japanese national team. He's played twice for Japan. But all well passes, the mic is still crackling. Bob Fish says, I think you need a new aux cable, but it's not terrible. But it's weird because it can't be the aux cable, can it? Sorry, let's get into the tech of it now, but it can't be the aux cable because when I do it pre-recorded, not through my mixer, it's usually fine. So I don't know what's going on with it. How very frustrating. Try twisting the PC connection. Yeah, I did unplug that earlier. How frustrating, guys. I'm really sorry about this. I'm going to have to get this sorted with some new equipment at some point. Let me know if you think it's worth me going on with or if it's too frustrating. Sorry, guys. Annoying sound stuff. Daniel Levy's accountant says this is good, so I'll accept it. Darren Loader asks, how do I feel about Grealish to Spurs? I feel like it's a no-go. I don't see that happening. I think it would be really frustrating if kind of we spent a lot of money on Jack Grealish's wages and then he, came to Spurs and didn't really fancy it. That would be my worry, to be totally honest, with Jack Grealish. Rene Batsford says, I was saying you look like a dead ringer for Beck, the singer. Yeah, I've had that a lot. I've had that a lot down the years, Beck. He's brilliant. If for those of you too young to remember Beck, go and check out the song Loser, his kind of first big hit, but absolutely brilliant. Kenneth Roof says, the mic has a loose connection, but we can live with it for now. Yeah, how frustrating. I have got another aux cable. I'll probably try a different aux cable next time, I guess. Or shall I try it now? No, like I said, the aux cable must be fine. It must be fine. So Ren Hoik says, hi Barnaby, what's your thoughts on the Super Cup? Are you considering heading over to watch it live? In terms of prestige, it seems to be regarded more highly on the continent than here in the UK. Well, I've never cared about it at all before, let's put it that way. And now I think it's the most important trophy in European football. And I would definitely think that if we were to win it. So that's how I feel about the Super Cup. I would love to go over there to watch. I believe it's, the ticket prices are ridiculous and it's quite a small place. So I'm not sure. I think, again, kind of like with Bilbao, I might make a late decision on it. But let's get back to talking about Eza. Let me know in the comments how you feel about Eza. Do you think that's the kind of exciting summer deal that would be really good for Spurs, that would get the fans kind of properly back on board, that could give Daniel Levy a little bit of leeway? I think it is. I think, scored the winner in FA Cup final, playing games for England now, a real kind of flair player. I've talked before about him reminding me a little bit of Chrissy Waddle from back in the 80s and the early 90s at Spurs. And yeah, I'd be super excited if Eza came. Bobfish 2001 says, I prefer Mbeumo. So does Scribble Scrabble. Scribble Scrabble says, but that's not happening, is it? It's not happening yet. I think Man United are pissing about over in Mbeumo a fair amount. But let's see what happens. If Man United don't find a way to pay the fee in a way that is acceptable to Brentford, then Tottenham have shown that they are willing to do that. Rene Batsford said, is Madueke club trained? If we didn't get the Brentford forward, would he be a good fit as another right midfielder, right wing? He's not club trained. Even though he was in Spurs' academy, he left too early. I think he left when he was still 16. And I was listening to Alistair Gold on his podcast, the Golden Guest Talk Tottenham, which is a good podcast. And they were saying how because Madueke left before he was 17, he is not a club trained player. Some reports coming out now that Man United have made an improved offer for Bryan Mbeumo. And Spurs are now focusing on signing Eberechi Eze. So all the reports on Eze in the last kind of 24 hours are that it's starting to ramp up. And I wonder now whether, because that Crystal Palace ownership situation has been sorted, Palace's the person who had a part stake in Crystal Palace, is his name John Trainer or something like that? The American guy, he has just sold it, which they needed to do to be able to play in the Europa League this season. So I wonder now whether they are going to get back onto their kind of transfer issues, which is whether Eze will leave and whether Gay will leave, both whose contracts are kind of running down. So I wonder whether that's why it's kind of ramping up with Spurs and Eze. Darren Loader says, get the feeling Levy will do as usual and wait till the final minutes to try and sign players. I mean, other than Man City and Liverpool, not many clubs are signing players. Can I just ask for this before I go on, guys? A lot of you obviously gave me likes in the first video before I had to bring up another stream. So if you could give me more likes again on this, and that will push it to for other people to see it. Jazzles asks, is Eze really going to happen? Why hasn't another club snatched him up already? Very good question about why hasn't another club snapped him up. I don't have the answer to that. It is an interesting one, isn't it? I think Palace haven't wanted to sell. They haven't needed to sell. Contract wasn't running out. He's not the kind of player to, make it difficult, kick up a fuss, go AWOL, strike, anything like that. I think he's been pretty happy at Palace. He seems like the kind of player who wants to be the first name on the team sheet, and he certainly is that at Palace. He was alongside Michael Olise, and then Michael Olise, of course, went to Bayern Munich. So then he really became the main man. And I think also on that front, Palace wouldn't have wanted to sell Michael Olise and Eze the same summer last year. So that's probably another reason why he stayed last year. And maybe this year he'll go. Gay's contract's running down as well. Lots of clubs, Liverpool, Spurs, Newcastle interested in him. So let's see what happens. Bob Fish says, what flavour are the Bachelor Super Noodles on your head? They are chicken flavour. There you go. Scribble Scrabble says, is Mikey Moore definitely going? Going where? Where is Mikey Moore going? I don't think he's going anywhere. I expect him to be a big part of the first team squad next season. El Dante asks, how do you see Eze fitting in? Where will he play? Will it take minutes from Madison Kulusevski? I said it earlier, but I'll say it again. I think he can play as a genuine kind of box-to-box 8, kind of everything going through him. I think he can play on the left-hand side of the forward line or the right-hand side of the forward line. He can play as a 10. I think there's a lot of options for Eze, and that's why he's a good potential signing for Spurs, as well as him just being in his prime really now. Kind of a similar signing to that Dominic Solanke signing we made last summer. A player in his prime who will straight away make the team better. Spurs Nepal, thank you for your comments. Says Eze better playing inside of left wing. Udogie needs to overlap more so we can get better out of the best out of Eze. Eze and Madders around 10 would be great for us creating chances. Just hope Dom finishes his chances. Well, I don't think we've been giving Dominic Solanke that many chances under Big Ange Postecoglou. Do you? I don't. And I think, obviously, Udogie, in terms of you saying he needs to overlap more, I think mostly in the early days of Ange anyway, Udogie was being told to underlap more and go into that kind of number 10 space. I don't foresee that happening under Thomas Frank. I think the fullbacks will be seen far more as, in inverted commas, more traditional fullbacks under Thomas Frank than they were under Ange Postecoglou. So yeah, I think that will benefit Udogie, and there'll be plenty of space for Eze. Recluse says, is it Eze or Mbeumo, or could we have a chance to sign both? I mean, that's the dream, I think, isn't it? Is the possibility that we could sign both, but seems unlikely. Charlie Vale says, wait, what happened? I don't know what the context is, Charlie, but if it's to do with the initial stream, I tried to sort out the microphone quality issues in the first stream and I went silent, so I had to start a new stream, if that's what you're talking about. Spurs and Paul says all left wingers are overpriced except Mbeumo. Semenyo, Kudus, all overpriced. So there's been a lot of talk about Kudus. How do you guys feel about Kudus? I don't get the sense from Kudus that he's a real workhorse. I feel like at West Ham he's been a little bit big for his boots. So he's not a player I would be that interested in. I just don't see West Ham doing deals with us for him either. So that is one that I would probably cross off. Mad Martigan at 1981 says, dust in the ports, give it a few twists. Yeah, I have done all that. I've done all the blowing and the twisting. Not really sure. And Clive Roberts says, please sort your mic out. I'm sorry that the mic's bad, guys. Apologies. If it's too bad, just let me know and I'll come off the stream and we'll try again tomorrow or something like that. Scribble Scrabble says, I agree with you, Barnaby. Solanke was working hard but wasn't getting tons of service. Reckon Eze could help that. Yeah, I do. I really do. And Mad Football TV says, please give us Eze. Yeah, I just don't think under Ange Postecoglou we made that many chances for Solanke. El Dante says, Solanke did underfinish his XG with only 9 league goals. Yeah, I mean, he missed a few chances, but I just think, you know, I've mentioned this a few times, but I also think Tottenham fans, you know, myself included, we've kind of had to recalibrate in our heads what a good chance is, because Harry Kane made half chances look like good chances, and they're not. So there's a bit of that as well. Darren Loader says, which position should we focus on for squad depth? I think we are right to be looking in the wide forward positions because we're a little bit one-dimensional there. And then we need, as far as I'm concerned, big time, more creativity in central midfield, and one more fullback if we're going to rotate for the Champions League and League kind of double headers. Dev Tank says we need 2 forwards, 1 winger / central attacking midfield hybrid and a striker. I like Eze for this, obviously, but think Tel will do well enough. Akliouche on the right would be nice, and Callum Wendo to fill Whistler's role. I saw Jazzle says Mike's not that bad, man. Thanks, mate. I saw someone suggest that the Callum Wendo deal might not be happening now, which I thought at the back end of last week it looked like it probably was going to happen. But let's see. Jackie Boy Johnson says, hi, Barnaby, any news? Well, there is some more news, which is Ali Gold has now come out and said that Scott Munn, he understands, has been placed on gardening leave. Also, some news this afternoon that Richarlison is apparently now a target for Galatasaray and that Tottenham would be open to a loan or a permanent deal. Galatasaray have been splashing the cash this summer so far, absolutely paid through the nose wages-wise for Leroy Sané. So if Galatasaray were interested in Richarlison, I think Tottenham would probably look to milk them a little bit. So that might not be a bad one. Whether Rishi, he's just had a baby, bless him. And there were some very sweet videos of Richarlison with his young child on social media. Whether he would be looking to move to Turkey, who knows? Might like the sun there, though. Who knows? Who knows? Paul Leatham says, glad Phillips is getting a chance. There has been some talk that Ashley Phillips might get more of a chance, but look, let's just wait until pre-season, really. I don't know. Nothing about what I've seen from Ashley Phillips so far has made me think that he's going to be getting anywhere near the first team anytime soon. Scribble Scrabble asked, is there any news on Sonny? I guess we'll only hear for certain in a while. Still on that one. Yeah, just that I think Sonny will definitely be going on the South Korean tour. And any move for Sonny away from the club would probably be after that. I think everybody's kind of agreeing on that one. Jack Brahima says, need a strong 6. Yeah, any ideas on who would that be? Bernard Aqua says the same. We need a solid number 6. We used to say the Makaleli role. Yeah, Claude Makaleli really invented that 6 role. Dev Tank says, have you seen this news about the Japanese player we're apparently paying 5 million for? Apparently a very reliable source. Yeah, I just saw a report on it. I don't know much about him other than he's played a couple of times for the Japanese national side. It's a Japanese journalist's rumor, and he's a centre-back. So remains to be seen. But yeah, who knows? Let's see what happens. I did actually talk about in my video, I don't know if you saw my video this morning, I talked about how I hope Spurs won't kind of willy-nilly just try and sign players from South Korea or Asia if Sonny leaves the club to try and replace the commercial side of it. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just being cynical, but who knows? Dr. Drizzy T says, who's reported that Ezra is close? I've not seen anything out there to indicate that. Well, Tom Barkley. Tom Barkley has done a report today. I personally think that you get that feeling when all the reports start to lead into one another about a player. All the leaks are kind of suggesting that a player is going to one club. The ball starts to roll. And I feel like the Ezra thing could well happen. And a fair few people within the space are agreeing. Obviously, nothing, you can never say never. Even a Fabrizio Romano, here we go, has gone wrong before. So you can never say for sure. But yeah, I have a feeling it might well happen. That's how I feel about it at the moment. El Dante says, I heard we could spend 300 million and be good for FPR, but I doubt we'll spend close to that. There are some reports doing the rounds that we're going to look to spend about 200 million plus, hopefully get 100 million pounds in through player sales to spend as well. I would be surprised if we spent I would be surprised if we spent 300 million pounds on players, but never, we've spent the third most out of all Premier League clubs since 2019. So we definitely will be spending some money, that's for sure. And probably more than most other clubs. Dry Roast Peanuts saying more about this Takai news, suggesting it's the largest transfer fee ever received for a Japanese player from the J League. Gary Riddell is missing the orange beanie, yeah. You can come and check me out on TikTok. I'm still wearing it on that. Guy Thompson saying the mic is a bit harsh. Yeah, I'm really sorry about the mic issues. Apologies for that, guys. I'm going to try and do something about that before I do any more lives, because it seems to be happening more and more regularly at the moment, unfortunately. There's a rumour as well doing the rounds that Spurs are among a host of Premier League clubs showing interest in a summer move for Sevilla midfielder Lucien Agume. Apparently Seville would consider offers in the region of £17 million for him. He's a defensive midfielder. He's played 35 La Liga matches this season. Scored 1 goal, 3 assists, and 67 tackles, 38 interceptions, 1.69 per 90, showing strong ball-willing ability. Described as a reliable midfield presence, so clearly a kind of CDM option, deployed as a defensive or central playmaker, 83% passing accuracy and an average of 51 passes per game. And Sevilla had bought him previously from Inter for around €4 million, 23 years old. Defensive grit. So that could be an interesting one. Dry Roasted Peanut asked Barnaby, are you drinking from a vase? Yes, I am drinking from a vase. That's just the way I roll. El Dan says, I think all Liverpool and transfer activity has skewed expectations, but realistically, we won't challenge those clubs for league positions. So we need to look at Villa and Newcastle instead. I don't know. It's so difficult with transfers these days because, as I've said a number of times, we're just swimming in waters below those teams. Like Man City have just bought practically 10 new players since January. And they just do it like that. And they've got 115 charges up against them. So, we just can't fight in those waters. We can't fight against Man City or Liverpool. But that is why I think we do have to have this transfer strategy of young, exciting, hungry players. Because we're never going to get players if Man City or Liverpool, or I'm afraid to say it, Arsenal or Chelsea are interested in them first. It's just not going to happen. Carbonite Play is giving me some good tech advice there. I actually don't use OBS for these lives. I mean, I think probably one of the things that might be the problem is that I go through YouTube's own live streaming option rather than using like StreamYard or anything. So I'm probably going to have to bite the bullet and buy StreamYard. And PKD81 is telling me how the mic is not fine. I'll tell you what, guys, seeing as we're coming up to 20 minutes and we're getting so many things about the mic, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come off this one and I'll do a pre-recorded video first thing in the morning with all the kind of latest news, and I'll find out more info on the Japanese youngster and get that out for you there. But yes, I appreciate you all trying to help me with my tech. And yeah, listen, let's hope for some more reports about Eberechi Eze coming soon. I really hope that we can get a good, exciting signing through the door to get us. What have we got? 23rd of June. So pre-season starts probably in about Yeah, probably about 15 days time, something like that. We need to get some players through the door before then, that is for sure. And in the meantime, I will check out my tech problems. All right, guys, have a great rest of your Monday night. Cheers.